Hello everybody, how you doing? I'll get started in a second. I haven't been on here in a minute. I was actually banned from going live for a week for posting about the genocide in Gaza. So that's why you haven't seen me on here. I was banned for a week for making a post about Gaza. But now I'm back. Today was Rebel Army Runs Day. We gave away 97 food packs. It was an incredible run. It was mad people out there. People of all walks of life. So it was my honor to serve the community. Today, as you know, is September 11th, ladies and gentlemen. Right? A lot of people ask me to make a 9/11 post every year, but this year I decided to go live and explain to people that the after effects of September 11th are still being felt, even by people who weren't alive during that time. You know, it was the second jump off of America's reignited Cold War. The problem is this, is that when September 11th happened, and I just want to make the people who watch me on here, the 400 of you that are here right now, when September 11th happened, we blamed Al-Qaeda and we went to war with the places that harbored Al-Qaeda. And only 10 years later, right, barely 10 years later, during the Obama administration, we used and paid splinter cells of Al-Qaeda to try and overthrow the regime in Syria. And I think that it's shown the American public exactly what this war has always been, which is a gigantic money laundering scheme. For the people who are asking me about the debate yesterday, I think the one thing that I got from watching Kamala Harris and Donald Trump debate is the clear understanding that neither one of them are going to change the foreign policy of this country. They both have very different ideas about the domestic policy, but neither one of them are going to change the foreign policy of this country. If Miss Harris gets elected, then she'll simply be the smiling face on the genocide, which is what we need. I think, Mr. Trump is there to lose this time. And I think that she puts a smiling face on a genocide. And he speaks too candidly. He says, we got to kill them all. So it's not like he's any better on Palestine. And I think that what we've seen is that now Kamala Harris is being branded as this savior for the mess that Trump has put himself into. But you have to understand there's no possibility, and this is not a denigration of third-party politics, but it's almost impossible, or rather it is impossible, to be a progressive and be the president of the United States. For the people that say, this president, I can point to Truman, or I can point to FDR, I can point to a million fucking things that person did that weren't progressive, and the fact that they were involved in this, and that weren't progressive at all. You can't be progressive and be the emperor of a fucking empire. And I think that, when I saw the Trump-Biden debate, I realized that a corpse could beat Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump has this image of being some great debater among right-wingers, and he's not. He's a walk in the park for anybody that stays on message and stays on code. The fact that Donald Trump called Kamala Harris a Marxist, that's ridiculous. It just shows you how far to the right wing has gotten. That they think that a corrupt prosecutor and a vice president is a Marxist. That made everybody just be like, whatever. I don't think he'll win, Adam. I think he's put there to lose. One, because The Simpsons hasn't been wrong yet. They said he was a one-term president. But I think that what's going to happen now is we're going to get Kamala Harris, and we'll have the same thing that we did under Obama. We'll invade a bunch of other countries, you know. If Trump was president and he invaded Yemen, then that would be a problem. But the United States has really, really had Yemen as a thorn in its side that it did not expect to. I'll put it this way, for the people that don't understand, I run a charity, right? We feed people. So I get to see the price of food before you do when I go to the wholesaler. The price of oatmeal and any grain-related products have risen by over 50% because of the war in Ukraine, right? And people say, oh, the Ukraine, that's Europe's grain supply. Yeah, but Europe's grain supply is gone. So they're buying it from other places, from South America, from Central America. They're buying it all up. So it's making the price go up. These people knew this shit. We're going to invade another country. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. Harris will become president and will invade another country. A lot of people are talking about a uni-party. Well, yeah, I mean, Donald Trump is a very good puppet for right-wingers. They believe in his nonsense, and they actually think that he's fighting against the system. These people are so fucked in the head, they think that he's a revolutionary and America is suffering from imaginary communism. America's not a communist country. No one who's in charge of America wants to make it a communist country. And liberals are morally bankrupt because they've decided that, as everyone says, this meme that, oh, you know, not all Trump supporters are racist, but they decided that racism wasn't a deal breaker. Okay, I got one for you. You know, not all Kamala Harris supporters support genocide, but they decided that genocide wasn't a deal breaker. This is what we're dealing with these two parties. Both of them went on a rampage yesterday, talking about how much more they would support Israel than the other person in the middle of a genocide. None of them are talking about scaling back a global war, right? None of them are talking about ending a war. Someone said, oh, no. Shauna Brown said, libs got everyone arguing about gender and race. No, Shauna, it takes two people to argue, Shauna. You know how you're arguing, like, I'm not talking to you. You made a comment, but now I can just, and I'm talking. Yeah, that's not a real conversation. That's just me lecturing you about something silly you said here. It's Republicans that have made that everything in their campaign. Gender, race, trans rights, everything. You guys are arguing with yourself now. That's the hills that you chose to die on, rather than endless war, right? And the liberals are a fake left. They're not the real left. They're nowhere near Marxism. They're nowhere near communism. Joe Biden is a communist? There's nothing that tells me that you belong in special ed more than that. So, sure, liberals sidestep a lot of things that people can talk about, but the Republicans were the ones that chose to stay on those topics because they thought that that would work with middle America. We're going to turn your kids into a blue-haired gay person, right? All of a sudden, we're going to change your kid's gender in 2 days. And then you fell for the bait. Now that's your whole campaign, right? A blue-haired kid who's confused about his sexuality is your whole fucking campaign. And meanwhile, you got Harris that is now the Democratic Party openly supporting a genocide in Gaza. But Trump doesn't criticize that. And none of the other conservatives criticize that. You know why, Shauna? Because you're arguing about gender and race rather than arguing about why we shouldn't be having a fucking genocide, or why Trump, for all his wisdom and all his genius that some of you fucking morons think he has, is supporting a genocide too. You know that, right? Mr. Trump is supporting the genocide in Gaza. He doesn't want that to stop. Listen, they're all a joke. Cyril Rebick, hey, I'm really sorry about the orders. We sent out about 43 this week. We're just backlogged on everything. I apologize for everything taking time. If you want Cyril Rebick, just hit me up on DM. Just hit me up. Let me know what's up, and I'll get your order straight. Look, are there fundamental differences with how they see abortion and other stuff? Sure. But none of them are going to change the foreign policy of the United States. If either one of them get elected, they'll both do the exact same thing in terms of their foreign policy. You think that that's wrong? You know, I think the problem is that it's like when you see someone that roots for a certain political party, man, it's like seeing a person that's wearing like a sports team's jacket. You're rooting for the team, but you're not really part of it. You don't really benefit from the show itself, right? And believe me, whenever I criticize Harris and Waltz and the rest of them, people get upset. Sure, oh, Technique, you support Trump. What? No, I think Trump is a joke, which is why I think that they had to replace Biden, because Biden was so incompetent and so fucked up and so out to lunch. Biden was the third term of Ronald Reagan, right? Biden was so incompetent that anyone could have beat him. Do you understand? That's why they replaced Biden, who is basically Weekend at Bernie's. Like I don't even know if he knew where he was. I think that he still thinks he's the president. But it's shown us that nobody has to be the president. This guy's not running for re-election. You don't need a president. This is the funny thing that you're all recognizing right now. You don't need a president. You've never needed one. This country hasn't needed one. It's a figurehead, which doesn't have the power that it claims it does. And, oh, Trump is going to make himself dictator. Really? This is what liberals are going with? You already have a dictator. It's the people at the Pentagon. That group of 100 people that decide what the fuck America's going to do. You already have a dictatorship. Did you want to go to war in the Ukraine? Right? We have all these Venezuelan immigrants. Everyone talks about Venezuela. Bush launched a coup in Venezuela. Trump tried to launch a coup in Venezuela. Obama tried to launch a coup in Venezuela. So 3 presidents tried to have a coup in Venezuela. Bragged about destroying the economy because they didn't want a socialist country to succeed or because they wanted to punish communists. So then you act surprised after you have 3 coups and you overthrow a country. And then you're surprised when people show up here. This is what I'm not getting, whether you're conservative or whether you are liberal. Are you hearing me? The United States tried to overthrow Venezuela 3 times. Mr. Trump and Mr. Obama both bragged about crumbling the economy. And then you act surprised, and Tu Alto is so fucking stupid that he accused me of being a socialist just for bringing up this tidbit of history. You know, I guess the guy who tells your mom she has cancer is a socialist too, because he told her the fucking truth, right, you moron? So we tried to overthrow Venezuela 3 times. We bragged, a Republican and a Democrat country, a Republican and a Democratic regime both bragged about destabilizing and ruining the economy, and then we act surprised when these people show up. They didn't send them here, Billy. That's the stupid Republican nonsense. That's the conservative ridiculousness that somehow, like, evil people are behind the scenes sending immigrants there. You don't need to, bro. If America collapsed, nobody would need to send us somewhere, man. Do you understand, brother? Hold on, I gotta find this dude because he's Billy Elvato. If America collapsed, nobody would have to send you somewhere, motherfucker. You would just leave because there's nothing to eat. There's no jobs. There's nothing. There's no economy. No one would have to send you somewhere as part of some evil ploy. You would fucking leave because there's nothing there. Do you understand? No one has to send those immigrants here. Their countries are destabilized. They're leaving there. There's nothing there. Like, I've actually been to these places, bro. I've been to Mexico, not at the border, but maybe 100 miles, all over the border, and then 50 miles beneath where they had an encampment of Haitian people. There wasn't some imaginary a gay liberal puppeteer sending those people here. What the fuck is wrong with you? There was just literally nothing in Haiti. So these people escaped to Mexico where they'd been living for fucking 4 years, right? And then they were trying to get into the United States. It's just funny for me to see people acting like, oh my God, just the ease which some of y'all bash immigrants with just, but not even understanding how the fuck this is going on. Well, we're not going to miss you, Billy, because, you're just going to go and perpetrate the rest of these lies at your children. It's not my fault, bro. What you need to do is educate yourself and recognize, okay, Billy, if I set your fucking house on fire, right? Billy Vato, if I set your house on fire, right? And I knocked your wife unconscious, I knocked you the fuck out, would I need to send your kids somewhere else? No, dummy. Your kids would just have to leave the fucking house because it's burnt down. You see what I mean, Billy? I'm not mad at you, brother. I don't hate you. I don't have contempt for you. I'm just trying to make the rest of the people realize something. If I burned your house down, I wouldn't have to send people somewhere. I wouldn't have to sneak your family somewhere as part of some scheme. My brother, I'm just trying to kick knowledge to you. He's not getting cooked. He's getting educated, man. I wouldn't have to send them somewhere. They would run for themselves, bro. Listen, God forbid, let me explain. We got 550 people in here. Let me tell you something, man. If America collapsed and there was no food and people were starving and there was goddamn war in the streets, people fighting over whatever's left in the supermarket and whatever's left in the restaurant, a lot of you are going to run away and you're going to leave. And I hope you make it out safe with your family, bro. Because a lot of people won't. How about that? A lot of people won't make it out safe with their families. They're all going to die. Just like the people in Venezuela died. Just like the people in other countries with a failed system have died. There's nowhere to go. So people keep believing what they see on television. Come here. Come to America. Everything's great. I think the other part that people are missing is that these immigrants that are coming here, they're only getting a free ride for the first 2 or 3 months. Then you know what's happening? You know that the United States military, the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, all of them have experienced a 30% drop. 30% in the past couple of years. That's not sustainable. You know what that means? That means that pretty soon our army will be severely outnumbered. So you know what's actually happening right now. Now, this is a controversial topic, but this is true. The United States is preparing to offer a pathway of citizenship, and it already has, to immigrants in return for military service. That's true. That's going to happen. And it's sad because you want to tell those immigrant people, man, it sounds like a really good deal, right? Imagine if America collapsed, there was nothing going on, you know what I mean? It's a fucking wreck. And then another country rises, some European power. And it says, hey, man, we need soldiers. You and your family can immigrate here, but you're going to have to give this country blood. You're going to have to sacrifice your children on the altar of freedom. That's my great fucking reward. It's a bunch of people going to the infantry. But it sounds like a good deal for them, man. If I was here with nothing, I had nothing to my name, I had no papers, I had nothing going on, I would say, fuck it, man. Let me get that GI Bill, you know? But for them, I always caution the people that come to this country and they believe the lie. They think the streets are paved with gold. The government has you in a hotel for 2 months. Just enough time to make the local residents angry at you. But they're not protesting anymore. Why? Because most of those hotels, those people have been kicked out. You see, BBRII.C, my brother had to join the army just to fix up with my mom. That's a common story now, brother. People who got to get their papers fixed, they're going into the military because they're offering them a pathway to citizenship. This is the start of that. That's going to be something much more common. Someone said we're talking about the UK. No, we're talking about the United States of America, where everyone is angry at immigrants because they got 2 months free stay at a hotel, at a jury's inn, right? So they thought they were pimping the system without realizing that those people are the ones that are being drafted first. They're the ones that are going to have to be part of this war machine that the majority of people, to be honest, let's keep it real, on 9/11, the sentiment has changed in this country. People don't want to die in this war on terror because they realized it was a lie. People are angry at the fact that their brothers and sisters died in Iraq and Afghanistan seemingly for nothing. You ask ex-military people how they feel about their service, and maybe 10, 20 years ago, they would have felt like they're fighting terror. Now, they feel like they're fighting for a corporation. They don't want to die for Ukraine or Israel. If there was someone actually attacking the United States, they'd want to defend it. But people don't want to join the military anymore. Let me ask you in the crowd, do any of you are in a rush to join the United States military right now? No! Guess what, man? You represent a massive, huge amount of people, whether you're white, black, Latino, Asian. That's across the board, all races, all religions. All people in this country are tired of this shit. They don't want to go to war. They don't want to be drafted in your fucking war. So guess what? That's just another job that Americans don't want to do, that immigrants are going to take up. Because they're going to offer them an incentive. They're going to tell them, hey, we're going to kick you and your family out. We'll send you back to that hellhole where there's nothing, where we tanked your economy and then we bragged about it. Or you can go to the best state school in America for free. The best school in your state for free if you got the grades, right? We're going to give your mom a job. My mom has a job, and you get a green card. Imagine being in that situation, man. It'd be hard for me as a man. I'll be honest with you. You know? You want me to put all my cards on the table, man? It would be hard for me as a man to say no to that deal if I was coming from a country that had just collapsed. Like I said to y'all, imagine if the United States collapsed and we had to move to another country and they say, well, you don't have rights here. And all of a sudden, someone comes at you with this shit that sounds too good to be true, because it is, right? Someone comes to you with a deal that's too good to be true, that says, hey, man, all you got to do is sign this piece of paper that says you fight for us for 4 to 8 years. And you know what? We're going to give you a pathway to citizenship. But now you got to die for this country and all the wars that happen. Ah, man. So I think that, it's pretty obvious that a corpse could have beat Donald Trump in a debate, and that's exactly what happened. But I don't see either one of them changing the policy And as a matter of fact, if Harris gets elected, I think she's going to put a rubber stamp on that genocide. Yeah, try to act like she wasn't part of it. The problem with third-party candidates like Dr. West, which I'm in complete support of, and Dr. Jill Stein, which I like very much too, is that the two of them don't have ballot access in all states. That's what's holding them back. Yeah. It's holding them back because they don't have access in those states. So they can only, it's mathematically impossible for them to win in some cases. That's been the problem with third-party candidates in general. If one of them can have ballot access in all the states, that would change everything. Someone said love from NYC. Man, love to you too. Listen, I think that after George Bush was out of office, the United States needed a smiling face, right? So that we could continue our war on terror. But if John McCain was there, it would have just looked like another crusty old white man sending people to war. They needed a fresh face. That's what the duopoly really is. It's the best public relations system that the United States has. The best public relations system that the United States has. So when we get in these situations where a candidate comes up and all of a sudden they're being painted as the savior, neither one of them is in charge, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to say that to you. Someone said, how come I performed so early in Atlanta? It's the way it is, bro. Somebody said, I make $92K a year, full benefits, a GI Bill for my kid, and match 5% of everything I invest. You see? And for some people, it's hard for them to turn down that deal. Anyway, guys, let me know where you're from. I'll give you guys a shout out. I definitely been working on new stuff too, man. Yeah. Yes, man, of course. Definitely. Yeah. Shout out to the Netherlands. Definitely rest in peace to my brother Chino XL. Love you, Chino. Love in Texas, Mexicali, Laredo. Shout to VA, New Mexico, New York City, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Salem, Oregon. Someone wrote Enumclaw, Washington. Oh shit, yo, I got one of the homies out there. Only one Rudy. DM me later, man. Denmark. Shout out to Denmark. Man, shout out to Bakersfield, Cali, Sacktown, Toronto. Chicago. Faroe Islands. Houston, Texas. Vermont. And San Diego, man. I love you guys, man. I'll save this one. I'll put it out. 9/11 debates and all that. I love you guys. Be good, be safe. Peace.